It's Monday, October 30th, I think. Kind of flying by the seat of our pants today. Originally, this was supposed to be Jonas and I, and then it was going to be Corey and I, and just stuff happens, and it's just me. You guys are so lucky today. We'll take a look at some of the stuff that happened over the weekend. Maybe answer some Twitter questions. I guess kick things off talking about De'Aaron Fox turned his right ankle last night. If you saw the replay or saw it happen live, like he turned it all the way over, like 90 degrees. He was down. He was writhing in pain. He was probably down for about 2 minutes. I didn't know if he was going to get up or not, but he did. He walked to the locker room under his own power, came back, finished the game. He actually looked really good when he came back. That thing is going to swell like a balloon, or it did probably swell like a balloon overnight. The Kings only play 2 games this week. My guess is De'Aaron Fox will miss at least one of those games, if not both. So it made me a little curious about picking up Davion Mitchell, but with 2 games, I don't think Mitchell's even worth going out there and messing with. So good news is you're only going to miss De'Aaron Fox for 2 games. Hopefully, he may not miss any. Like let's go back there. De'Aaron Fox may not miss any games, but I kind of think, I'm not a real doctor, but I kind of think he's going to miss 1 or 2. So I have De'Aaron Fox on my 30-team roster, and my bench is so bad and so thin. Now that I finally got Cam Thomas off of it, I can't even replace De'Aaron Fox. So I'm just going to roll with Fox and hope he plays through it, but I'm not going to hold my breath. Did a couple Twitter questions, get to some weekend recap. I haven't pre-read these questions, so I'm kind of going in blind. What do you think about Andrew Wiggins and Jonathan Kuminga? Are both 12-team 9-cat holds? I think both of them are. Depends on, like, if I could drop. I really think Jalen Johnson needs to be rostered everywhere right now. If I could drop Wiggins and pick up Jalen Johnson, who started for the Hawks on Sunday and once again looked really good, pushed Saddiq Bey to the bench. So, yeah, I think if I could drop Wiggins or Kuminga and pick up Jalen Johnson, I would probably do it. I think if I'm looking at picking up a guy like Derek Lively or Cam Thomas, probably a little more reluctant. I think Cam Thomas is a guy that should be rostered everywhere at this point. But do I want to cut Wiggins or Kuminga to make that happen? I don't know. I mean, we're only 3 games into this thing, Il Gabo, so it just depends on who you pick up. I mean, if there's a too good to be true free agent out there and you want to drop Andrew Wiggins to get him, I'm okay with that. Mikey is asking, Scoot Henderson's 3-game sample size compared to other highly touted rookies of the past. Maybe relate that to what to expect and how to handle rookies in a season. Generally speaking, I don't mess with rookies in a season. Scoot's off to a really slow start. That team is a disaster. DeAndre Ayton looks terrible. Anthony Simons is gone. The good news is Shadon Sharp looks good and Malcolm Brogdon looks good, but that doesn't really help Scoot. I think Scoot will get it going, figure it out as the season goes on. But I think we draft these rookies, even a rookie as highly touted as Victor Wembanyama and Chet Holmgren, they're not going to be great every night out, and they haven't been great every night out. We've seen flashes, but so you go a tier down from there, which is Scoot and the Thompson twins, who were highly drafted. The Thompson twins have done nothing this far. It's going to take these guys a little time to get going. Then they'll get going, and then, February will get here and they'll hit a rookie wall. And rookies are just kind of frustrating to deal with in general. So if you don't feel like dealing with Scoot Henderson and there's somebody hot out there that you want to go pick up, I'm cool with that too. So I'm not saying that Scoot should be dropped everywhere, but I just don't. Rookies are not all that fun to deal with in fantasy hoops. Let's see here. 12 teams, Bones Highland versus Zaire Williams. I kind of like Zaire because he's starting. Bones is getting production off the bench. That's kind of a coin toss for me. I'm going to go Zaire, though. This is a good one from Basom Ben. Are you adding Keontae in 12 teamers? Do you believe? Like, let's look at who is Keontae George. I don't really even know who he is. He went to Baylor. I think he was the 15th or 16th pick by the Jazz. 27 minutes on Saturday, 12 minutes on Friday, 19 minutes on Wednesday. He made a little bit of noise in the preseason. I think he got people fired up. The numbers, 9, 4, and 3 with no steals and no blocks. I'm not really a big believer at this point, but it doesn't mean I can't be later on. But I see his name kicked around a lot, but I just haven't seen him do anything. So I'm not in on the hype train on Keontae right now. Bruce Brown or Markel Fultz, that is from Loose Lips. These are all questions to my my mailbag column over at RotoWire, which is funny. It's a lot of the same people. Bruce Brown or Fultz. I'm a Bruce Brown guy more than I am a Fultz guy. And Bruce Brown didn't do anything in the Pacers' last game. But he's been pretty good overall, and I think he's going to be a big part in what they do. I'm going to go Bruce Brown, but that's close. I mean, both guys should probably be rostered. Two more, and then we'll move on. Thoughts on DeAndre Ayton's production and minutes? We mentioned him briefly when I was talking about Keontae. The rebounds are fine. The steals, they're fine. The blocks are not fine. The scoring is not fine. The body language, perhaps, is not fine. The number of shots he's getting, not fine. The fact the Blazers have yet to win a game, not fine. So there's a lot of things that are not fine going on with DeAndre Ayton right now. He does look happy in his profile picture with his new team, the Blazers. So there's that. He's got a nice little smile. He's got the hair's looking good. But the game log, man, I do a podcast with Kama for RotoWire, and he with Kama, and he kind of sold me on the whole DeAndre Ayton thing. He's like, man, Ayton's going to be great this year. And he still might be. I mean, he's a big piece of Portland's puzzle, and they need him to play well. But he kicked things off in the opener last Wednesday, which isn't even a week ago. Let's keep that in mind. 4 points, 12 boards, 1 block, 3 steals. Then he had 14 points and 15 boards with 0 steals and 0 blocks against Orlando on Friday. And on Sunday, he played 21 minutes in another blowout loss against Joel Embiid, of all people. He had 7 points, 9 boards, 2 steals and a block. So, it's early. We're so early. We're 3 games in. He's got a new team. Half his teammates are, they're not hurt. Just one of them's hurt. Anthony Simons. Damian Lillard's gone. But like I said, Malcolm Brogdon and Shadon Sharp are both playing pretty well for Portland. And if you picked up Shadon Sharp, if you didn't listen to me and picked up Shadon instead of Brogdon when Simons went down, you made the right call. Although Brogdon's been pretty good too. Brogdon's playing well in his same role off the bench. They both played well on Sunday night. They're both going to continue to play well, and if Shadon Sharp is still available in your league, you should pick him up immediately. As for Ayton, I mean, you can't drop the guy. You just gotta wait it out and hope he's better. I kind of thought he was going to come into the season with a chip on his shoulder. He'd be kind of angry that he got run out of Phoenix. He'd be like, "I'm going to show those people over there in Phoenix, over there in Scottsdale, that I'm better than they thought I was." And I thought he was going to come out and just try to dominate people, but we haven't seen that at all. What was the last one I saw? Oh, thoughts on Paul Reed. Paul Reed of the Philadelphia 76ers. I've just never been a Reed guy, and I get why people may be, but I just haven't been able to get on board with him. Let's take a look at what he's done real quick. I know it's not much. I mean, I think for Paul Reed to have fantasy value, you're going to need Joel Embiid to get hurt, and I don't want Joel Embiid to get hurt. I don't think most of us do, but I think that is what it's going to take for Reed to really do anything. I know expectations were kind of high coming in; they weren't really that high by me, just because I feel like I've never really seen him do what we need him to do. He's played 17, 13, and 12 minutes this season. He is averaging 3 points, 4.7 rebounds, 1 assist, and 0.7 blocks. He scored a total of 9 points. He has a total of 14 rebounds, and he has a total of 2 blocks on the season. So yeah, it's you can't afford to hold on to that any longer, or you're going to lose this week, probably like you lost last week because you had Reed on your team. Speaking of losing fantasy games, I had Cam Thomas on my bench in my 30-team league, and he scored 30-plus points in both of his games, went absolutely ballistic. Had I had him in my lineup, I won one of my games despite that 7-2. I lost the other one 2-7. In that 2-7 game, I would have won like 5-4 had I played Cam Thomas. So that was a huge mistake. I'm kind of excited about getting him in my lineup for this week, but you know what that means, right? I'll get him in my lineup, and then he will, what the bed, and that's not going to be cool. All right, that takes care of that. I just so happened to write up a weekend recap for RotoWire. It's going to drop sometime today. So let's go through some of that. Let's go back to Jalen Johnson for a second. I don't know if you guys have watched any Hawks games yet, but Jalen Johnson passes the eye test almost as well as anybody named Chet or Victor or Scoot that I've seen this season. He actually looks better. I mean, he looks so confident going to the rack. He's putting people on posters. He's playing heavy minutes. He's averaging 15 points, almost 8 boards, almost 2 assists, almost 2 steals, a block, and a 3-pointer after 3 games. And the cool thing is on Sunday, they moved Sadiq Bey to the bench and started Johnson. And that's a big deal. So as of last night, he was only rostered in 16% of ESPN leagues and in 47% of Yahoo leagues. And while we're talking about that, like ESPN's rostership is usually lower than what players are in Yahoo. And that's because Yahoo's a 12-team system. Like almost all their leagues are based on 10 to 12 teams, where ESPN, a lot of their leagues are 8 to 10 teams. So the free agency pool is much larger, and guys sit on waivers longer than they do in Yahoo leagues. That's kind of the difference between those two, and that's why those numbers are always kind of out of whack. They don't really mirror each other. But if they're going to start Jalen Johnson the rest of the season, which a lot of fans were calling for DeAndre Hunter to take the hit, but it was Sadiq Bey at least yesterday. So I'm all in on Jalen Johnson. I think he's the hottest pickup there is right now. Speaking of my guy, Cam Thomas, he scored at least 30 in both of his games. One, he came off the bench. One, he started for Cam Johnson. Cam Johnson and Nick Claxton are both out tonight on Monday. That means Cam's going to go off again for Cameron Johnson. Then Nick Claxton missed, I think it was Saturday's game. He's got a what's he got? It's down here. He's got a calf injury, I think, ankle. I don't know. But just to go back to what Cam is doing, Cam is averaging 33 points, 5 boards, 2 assists, a steal, half block, 1.5 3-pointers. He's hitting 62.5% of his shots. He's ridiculous. The Nets play 4 times this week. He's available in like 45% of ESPN leagues. So if you play in an ESPN league, go get him. I can't wait to put him in my 30 deep lineup. As for Nick Claxton, Day'Ron Sharp started for him Saturday, I believe, and I got suckered into that. A lot of people got suckered into that. It was a disaster. The Nets went small. I'm not saying Day'Ron Sharp might not be good this evening, but I'm not holding my breath on it. So I'm not messing with Day'Ron Sharp, even with Claxton out. But he might be a good flyer in DFS or something. Derek Lively of the Mavericks got off to that hot start off the bench for Dallas. Fortunately, in game 2 on Friday, he only played 17 minutes. He did hit all 4 of his shots, had 9 points, 2 boards, and a block. But 17 minutes were bad. The Nets, they played the Nets. The Nets didn't have Claxton with that ankle injury. So they went small. Dallas went small. Lively didn't do as much as we needed him to, but maybe that's a blessing in disguise. And he'll be available in more leagues for y'all to pick up than he would have been had he gone off on Friday. He's rostered in 17% of ESPN, 51% of Yahoo. He's not a good free throw shooter. Just beware of that. A couple more, then we'll roll out of here in a couple minutes. Max Strus playing for Cleveland looks totally different this year, right? Like he's always been a one-dimensional 3-point shooter that doesn't do anything else. He's had 12 rebounds in one game. He's had 11 rebounds in one game. He's averaging almost 19 points, 10 boards, 4 assists, a steal, almost a block, over 4 triples a game, playing 40 minutes a night. Strus is rostered in 37 in ESPN, 64 in Yahoo. Like that's automatic pickup. Cavs play 4 times in week 2. That makes him even more automatic. And staying in Cleveland, my guy, Karis LeVert. LeVert's got a little bit better every game he's played in this year. Kind of peaked on Saturday, had 31 points, 5 boards, 8 assists, a steal, 4 triples. It was against his former team, the Pacers. There was a little revenge factor going on there. But Karis LeVert's averaging almost 20 points, 3 boards, 5 assists, a steal, just under a block, 3.5 3-pointers a game, getting 36 minutes a night. I don't know how long he can keep that up. He is just 28% rostered in Yahoo. So he's available in a lot of leagues. They play 4 times. The minutes are there. He's healthy. He looks good. Surely you can find somebody to drop and stop calling me Shirley. Obi Toppin, not playing well for the Pacers. He's just not getting minutes. He's only getting 18.5 minutes. Jalen Smith is playing better than I think people thought he was going to. I'm okay with dropping Toppin if you've got somebody else you want to pick up. I'm not saying that he should be dropped, but the Pacers have enough guys contributing across the board that I don't think Toppin has a clear path to be a breakout fantasy star, especially with Jalen Smith playing so well. So Jalen Smith, I think I'd rather have him than Obi Toppin. Um, Nas Reed, I don't know how, but the Sportstopia Contrarian Optimizer, Edge Optimizer told me to play Nas Reed on Saturday, and the dude went crazy. He had 25 points, 8 boards, 2 steals, and 4 triples, 10 of 14 shooting in 28 minutes against the Heat. Rudy Gobert and Karl-Anthony Towns both played in that game for Minnesota, yet Reed still went crazy from the bench. So I'm not sure how the optimizer knew that Reed was the play that day, but my buddy Richard that I play FanDuel with every day is not happy. He's accused me of cheating by using the optimizer. He's accused me of becoming unbeatable in the 4 days that we've played because of the optimizer. I'm not sure how much of that is true or not, but I kind of like the fact that he's completely intimidated and scared of the optimizer. You can try it for a week for $1 at Sportstopia. It's if nothing else, it's a really, really cool tool, and it's gathering so much data and so much information, and it's constantly updated throughout the day. And it's so easy. You just tell it what league, what sport you want to play, what your platform is, FanDuel or DraftKings. Hit generate lineup, and there it is. It tells you who to play, and you play that lineup, or you start with that and tweak it to your liking. It's just a really cool tool, and for $1, man, it's almost unbeatable. Nas Reed, by the way, Timberwolves only play 3 times in week 2, so I'm not saying Reed's automatic pickup. He had 10 points and 4 boards in the opener, so that Saturday almost looked a little fluky. I don't know if he's going to do it again or not. Maybe the optimizer will tell us, right? And last thing I'm going to do before I get out of here, James Harden update, because what would an NBA fantasy podcast be without a James Harden update? Because we've had one in every single one of these I've done since before the season started. Shams posted some breaking news on Sunday. Harden is going to attend Monday's game, or no, he attended Sunday night's game against Portland and sat on the bench with his teammates. So, I mean, if that doesn't get you fired up, I don't know what will. Trade talks seem to be dead right now. I'm sure they're happening, but at least in the media, they're kind of dead. I'm sure Philly wants to move Harden, and I'm sure Harden wants to get out of Philly and go start playing somewhere. Philly doesn't want to give him away. They're not just gonna chalk this up. They're just not gonna play the game. I don't think so. All right, with that, I am out of here. I will be back hopefully on Wednesday with the rest of my crew, and you won't have to listen to me drone on by myself. This has been the Fire and Ice Fantasy Hoops podcast. We'll see you next time.